Okay, so Death Stranding 2 is the sequel to Hideo Kojima's most divisive and possibly least fun game ever, which still manages to be one of the most fascinating releases of the last 10 years. And Death Stranding 2 is even weirder. Yes, even weirder than a walking simulator set in a post-apocalypse where a digitally de-aged million-dollar woman plays the US president. And you fight spectral beings using guns that fire bullets made of your own blood. Well, the sequel is even more mysterious and equally exciting, and it's safe to expect a lot more strolling from point A to B, while hero Norman Reedus, aka Sam Porter Bridges, has seriously aged since the last time that we saw him. But most importantly, there's every chance that Death Stranding 2 will be the best looking game ever to grace the PS5. As I'm Jules, this is FGS, and these are 7 things you need to know about Death Stranding 2. Number 7. A stunning walking simulator that's built with the Decima engine. In vintage Kojima fashion, we know very little about Death Stranding 2. Heck, Kojima hasn't even confirmed that it will be the final game's actual title. With the initials DS2 accompanying the first trailer, all we have to go on is 4 minutes of climactic, cinematic, in-game footage that debuted at 2022's Game Awards. Once again, using Guerrilla Games' impeccable Decima engine, which powered PS5's sensational Horizon Forbidden West, the only nailed-on educated guess that we can make regarding Death Stranding 2 is that it will involve Reedus' post-apocalyptic postman stumbling across some extremely pretty mountain ranges as he tries to reconnect the world following the first game's mysterious cataclysmic event. There will almost certainly be a lot of ambling over hills with 300 pounds plus of cargo strapped to Sam's back, and you'll likely spend as much time toppling over in a video game version of Jenga as you do delivering goods successfully in one piece. Number 6. Death Stranding predicted the pandemic, so what's next for DS2? Even by the legendary Hideo Kojima standards, the plot from the original Death Stranding was borderline indecipherable, yet those who scoffed about a game set in a post-apocalyptic world where humanity shielded from each other while digital connections and delivery people kept society afloat were laughing a little less hard given the real-world events of 2020 and 2021. In the original Death Stranding, Kojima-san leaned on very real-world concerns regarding climate change to spin a yarn that focused on floating whales covered in oil and babies that lived in people's throats, largely as a cipher for concerns about an increasingly fractured world and the tensions such as Brexit or the US elections. So what can we expect from the sequel? An equally self-indulgent yet strangely compelling tale that will most likely focus on the gradual decay of our planet as an aging Norman Reedus walks his shins into the ground. It also seems to question the original game's themes of connection, positing that it might have actually been a mistake to bring people together. I mean, I'm just wildly gesturing at this point here over to the words real-world politics and just being like, interesting. The fact that Sam Porter Bridges has aged so dramatically since the first game feels like a pointed callback to old Snake's rapidly decaying DNA in Metal Gear Solid 4, so expect lots of ruminating thoughts and past regrets, even though Reedus will probably only have 20 lines of dialogue at all in this sprawling sequel. And speaking of lines of dialogue, how about this line of dialogue? Hey, you watching this video, you're a cool guy. You've got a sick shirt on and a lovely haircut, just fantastic. You even smell nice. So why don't you do me a favor, who is much less fashionable and much more ugly, and pity me by clicking on that subscribe button. Come on, join us here over on FGS, where you can stay up to date with all of our daily gaming content, and you can also stay tuned to all of our deep cut laden lists that happen every Friday with me, Jules Gill, baby. Thank you very much. Kiss on the ad for you. As we move on to entry number 5, there's a Hollywood cast with big stars yet to be confirmed. Now, it's no secret that Hideo Kojima has some seriously powerful Hollywood players in his little black book. This is a man who somehow convinced famed film composer Harry Gregson Williams, who scored blockbusters The Rock and Enemy of the State in the late 90s, to compose Metal Gear Solid 2 back in 2001. In the 2 decades since, it's no surprise the digital auteur has managed to assemble one of the most star-studded casts in gaming history. Not only will this knee-straining sequel see the return of Reedus and Troy Baker's villainous Higgs, but the already stellar cast will be bolstered by the likes of rising character actor Elle Fanning, who is perhaps best known for her starring role in The Neon Demon back in 2016. Kojima was recently seen courting the new Willy Wonka, Timothée Chalamet, and we can firmly expect some high-profile casting surprises to come. I mean, just look at this tweet of Kojima and Cage at his studio. What could be happening there? It's also worth noting that Kojima has recently inked a deal with the critically acclaimed movie and TV production studio A24 to bring Death Stranding to the big screen. A24 have produced such well-received shows as Netflix's Beef, HBO's Euphoria, and movies such as Oscar winner Everything Everywhere All at Once, so there's actually a danger that this might actually be good. Oh, and Kojima also has a documentary coming to Disney Plus in 2024 called Connecting Worlds, with contributions from Guillermo del Toro, George Miller, Grimes, and Churches. He is a bloody busy man. Number 4. Why is Sam so old? Well, this feels like the driving question behind Death Stranding 2's story. Just why on earth is Sam Porter Bridges suddenly ancient? Granted, real-life actor Norman Reedus did seem to defy the aging process during the 11 seasons of The Walking Dead, yet in Kojima's Walking Sim sequel, he's seemingly gone from mid-40s to early 60s in the blink of an eye. Now, fans speculate it could be to do with the game's time-accelerating reign called Timefall, which, and here are some gentle spoilers for the end of Death Stranding, was supposed to have stopped due to the events of the original game's conclusion. Or, it could just be down to good old-fashioned time itself. It's also possible that the whole trailer jumps around a much longer timeline. What if your pod baby BB, actual name Lou, has aged and you play the Elle Fanning character? Although maybe that's a bit too obvious. Or perhaps there's points to the extra enigmatic Fragile as possibly being a playable character in the sequel. The No Time to Die star is arguably the most high-profile actor in the Kojima series, and as longtime Metal Gear fans know, the Japanese director loves to smash the fourth wall. I mean, just look at the bleach blonde Raiden replacing Solid Snake in Metal Gear Solid 2. The central gimmick surrounding Fragile is her dooms-centered allergy, which basically manifests as magic tears that affect the world around her. Kojima has always been incredibly bold when it comes to switching up in-game mechanics between sequels, so don't be surprised if Fragile and her paranormal tear glands play a major role in how you play Death Stranding 2. Number 3. When will it come out? Well, if you're hoping to bunker down with Death Stranding 2 anytime soon, we have some disappointing news for you. Current reports suggest this Megaton sequel won't release until 2025. Now, that's hardly ideal, seeing as a little-known indie project called GTA Bloody 6 will be launching around the same time. Despite both titles vastly differing on the open-world formula, based on the debut trailers that we've seen from both games so far, Death Stranding 2 and the next GTA look set to be the best-looking games to hit the PS5 and Xbox Series X this console generation. Though, considering Kojima's long-standing working relationship with PlayStation, don't bet the farm on a Death Stranding sequel coming to any Microsoft console anytime soon. Number 2. Kojima rewrote the DS2 script after the pandemic. Hideo Kojima is no stranger to having to significantly alter the contents of his games due to real-world events. Metal Gear Solid 2 launched mere months after the tragedy of 9/11, and as a result, Kojima Productions had to rapidly cut the Twin Towers from appearing in the Sneak 'em Up's classic opening tanker section. In the case of Death Stranding 2, seismic planet-morphing actions have also had a substantial impact on the development of Kojima's Walking Sim sequel. Pre-pandemic, the gaming visionary had already penned his script for Norman Reedus' shin-scraping sequel, but COVID kind of put paid to all of that. Since the rise and hopefully subsequent fall of coronavirus, Kojima has admitted that he's almost entirely rewritten the script of Death Stranding 2. Considering the plot of the original game was hardly a basket of cupcakes, we can only hope that this Walking Sim follow-up will be slightly more optimistic. It's not going to be though, is it? And number 1, will there be a PC port? Well, the short answer to the PC conundrum, almost certainly yes. Even before he left Konami under less than ideal circumstances, Hideo Kojima delivered an all-time great PC port with Metal Gear Solid 5 The Phantom Pain. Even though it was released a full year after the PS5 original, the PC edition of Death Stranding proved equally worthy to Snake's espionage adventure. Such is the strength and well-optimized nature of Guerrilla's Decima engine. And it seems almost certain that Death Stranding 2 on PS5, and hopefully a PC edition some way down the line, will be among the best-looking video games ever made. And so, that's everything you need to know about Death Stranding 2. With plenty more trailers and teasers expected in the next 12 months, we'll be sure to drip-feed you all the goodness. So, you should definitely stay tuned to the FGS YouTube channel, where you can subscribe right now and stay up to date with all of our daily game content and the weekly Deep Cut Laden List series that I host. It's Jules Gill, baby, with the Deep Cut. Baby! That's 2 babies for you right there. Just free of charge. That's what you get over here, mate. So go on, subscribe. Do it. Do it right now, you coward. Anyway, that's been FGS, and we'll speak to you soon. Bye.